I've talked to organizations that have been this close to actually hiring someone that can come in and create the CHW training curriculum for them because that's how bad they wanted a curriculum. And then when I did my curriculum demonstration, they were blown away. This is our solution, Quisha. We were just about to hire someone. Do you know how much money and time and headache and frustration you're saving us with this curriculum? I'm going to go ahead and start with tip number one, 7 tips for getting started with curriculum licensing. And so the first tip is do not wait until your curriculum is perfect. Implement it, get feedback on it, revise it, and implement it again. You heard me say earlier, my curriculum was trash. I knew it was trash. Chances are your first version of your curriculum is going to suck also. That is okay. You want to get as much feedback about your curriculum, about your training methods, right? About the activities, just about the interaction and engagement level, everything as much as possible so that it can inform your quality improvement processes. And this is one thing that I want you to keep in mind as well. If you know you've not been using this curriculum or this training very long, if you're going to start training people with it, or even if you're going to license with it, and you know that it hasn't gone through a second or third, fourth, or fifth revision, keep your pricing consistent with the quality and the content of the curriculum. I did not charge what I charge now for my curriculums and for my training programs because my quality and my content was not where it is right now. Right now, however, I know I have a great product. It's been tested time and time again. It's been highly reviewed. In fact, you can go visit our Google reviews. Umemba Health, we have 5 stars. I think 17 was the last. But internally, even we've got a lot of feedback because we are always asking our students every semester and every cohort about how we're teaching, about our activities, about our exercises, about our supplemental ancillary materials. So just make sure to keep your pricing consistent with that quality and content of the curriculum, which should get better through each iteration. Okay, so tip number 2, this is extremely important. Do not throw anything away and back up everything. Okay. So as you make revisions and updated versions, just archive old stuff, old training, old PowerPoints, old handouts, old outlines. Archive it. You never know what you will need to refer back to. And save everything. I remember a couple of years ago, I lost everything. I cannot remember exactly how it happened, but I lost everything. It was before I moved my business from Google to Microsoft Suite. And I said, I will never, ever experience this again. And so now my entire business runs off the Microsoft 365 stack. And of course, we've got SharePoint and we've got OneDrive, and I am like double backed up for everything. So save everything so you can refer back to it. And also, if you're going to be doing continuing education, CEUs, CUs, whatever you want to call it, then you'll definitely want to keep everything as well, because depending on your accreditor, you're going to have to maintain records for a certain amount of time. So don't throw anything away. Save everything. Okay, so here is tip number 3, hire a lawyer. Hire a lawyer. You're going to need help with at least your copyright if you want your curriculum to be copywritten. You may want to do a trademark as well. So I don't have my little TM symbol above my my business name. However, I have submitted my trademark, so I can use the little TM if I want to do that. And my curriculum also has been submitted to the Copyright Office as well. You also will need a lawyer to help you with your curriculum licensing agreement. I believe mine is like 11 or 12 pages long. It covers a lot of information. I would strongly recommend, if you seriously want to consider curriculum licensing as a revenue stream, going ahead and just paying for a consultation with a trademark and copyright lawyer even before you get started. You want to know exactly what you're looking into as far as the process goes. And I'll tell you why. So, according to my lawyer, there's about 18 different licensing models that you can choose, and it will take you some time before you decide on which model works best for you and your business. And if you're watching and you're interested in knowing the model that I chose and what works for me, then just put it in the chat. I'll be sure to share when I'm done with my presentation here in a little bit. So a couple more things to note about your lawyer. So they're going to help you file trademark, help you file copyright. So when you file your copyright, keep in mind it does take about 3 to 5 months generally for your copyright registration to be completed and received. But you can move forward in using your works within your brand and your business once you submitted that copyright. So I have not gotten the official notice saying, hey, this curriculum has been approved for copyright by the U.S. Copyright Office. However, because it's been submitted to the office, I can use it and still have the same protections. Now, here's something that I was not aware of when it comes to curriculum licensing that I think is very beneficial for you to know. If you make any significant changes in your curriculum, I'm not talking about going in and changing a picture or going in and changing, a misspelled word, but if you're revising like a second iteration or addition of your curriculum, that also has to be sent back to the Copyright Office, and another application for copyright has to be received. And so in my particular circumstance, my curriculum has 3 components. There's 10 core modules, there's 10 intermediate modules, and there's 5 advanced modules. When I first sent my copyright, I sent just the first 10 modules. That was one fee, and that was one set of legal fees. The second set of modules, the second set of 10, was another copyright application and another legal fee. And so you get what I mean. Now, if the entire curriculum was done at the same time, could I have sent the entire thing at once? Absolutely. But the entire curriculum was not done at the same time. And then your trademark. So your trademark can even take longer. It can take 8 to 12 months to process, but trademark protection does begin on the date, just like copyright protection, that you file. So on the date you file, you can begin using the little TM that I was talking about. Your mark, you can start using that to put others on notice that you're reserving your trademark rights. Now, no one has asked this question, but one of the questions that I'm often asked is how much is this going to cost in legal fees? And it really just kind of depends on the lawyer that you go with. In preparation for this Q&A session, I actually went to my QuickBooks account and looked to see how much I paid. And so I paid just slightly under $6,000 so far. $150 for the initial consultation, and then I had a trademark package, which was a couple $1,000s, and then I had a copyright package that was a couple of $1,000s, and then the curriculum licensing agreement, I think that was $1,000. So I'm just under $6,000 in legal fees. But again, depends on the lawyer that you go to, depends on, the other services that you may or may not need, but it is definitely something that you need to consider, okay? Now let's talk about tip number 4, be patient, okay? Luckily for me, even though this was a goal, like a December 2022 goal of mine, this was nothing that anybody was rushing me for. This was nothing that I had to have done by a certain time. Thankfully, I had been teaching CHWs at that time for almost about 2 years, definitely about 18 months. And so, I didn't have, I guess I wasn't paying bills with it, is what I'm trying to say. Also, do not license or try to license a curriculum that has not been tested, okay? That's first and foremost. So like I said, I was training CHWs for about 18 months before I even started doing the curriculum for that I'm currently licensing now. Also, don't create or license a curriculum that there is no market for. And so when I say be patient, I'm saying this could be a 12-month, 18-month, 24-month process. And that's if you have content developed already. So if you don't have content developed already, especially if you're not familiar with curriculum development or CE accreditation or things like that, then this really is not like just the fast meal ticket. Training is, and I would recommend that you do train, because you need to train, make sure that your curriculum makes sense, make sure that it sees results and people are transformed by it. But I'm not recommending that you license it until you can actually start seeing some of those results. Okay. Tip number 5, hire a professional to create a branded look for you. Now, if you're really good at graphic design, I know I've got some friends that, they love Canva, they can do some great things on Canva, then hey, by all means do it. For me, I like Canva. It's not, I don't just love it. And I also don't love the time that it takes for me to create things. I hired a graphic designer because I wanted a branded look. I wanted my PowerPoint templates and my worksheets and my handouts and my lesson plan template and all of those things to have a consistent look and feel to them. Also, my lawyer informed me if I wanted certain icons to be used to represent the different core competencies that you have to train CHWs to. And she said, well, if we're licensing this curriculum, you can't use icons that you would go find on the internet. You can't use clip art that is readily available. You can't copyright those things. And so she actually told me the standards in which my graphic designer could create special icons. So it had to be using certain technology, or it could be hand drawn icons, which she did not do hand drawn icons. But those are the things that I had to consider, because I'm basically saying that this curriculum is something that no one else is using. The icons are things that no one else is using. And so you need to, really think about that. Another reason I hired a graphic designer is it was time saving. I didn't have the time to do it myself. I got a really good rate. Now, if you look at my curriculum, is it super, snazzy and fancy and have all these? No, it's not. It's industry standard. It's something that can apply in all settings, in all organizations. And so it's very simple. Actually, it's very simple. But it does have a consistent look and feel to the branding of it. So it looks really professional. As a matter of fact, if you're interested in seeing what that looks like, I actually have a little ticker here. You can download a sample course of my CHW training curriculum by visiting umembahealth.com/free CHW course. Okay. I'll share that again at the end of our session tonight. So tip 6, and I'm almost done with my tips here, is one of the most important because this is what's going to really impact the amount of money that you make. So tip 6, you want to not just license your curriculum. You want to upsell, okay? Package your curriculum with other services that you offer to increase the value of that offering. For instance, anyone that licenses my curriculum, they automatically get mandatory instructor implementation training, mandatory technical assistance, and those services are not optional. They're intended to ensure that the licensees know how to implement my curriculum using my framework, right? Is it framework that I actually developed or framework that I'm using from the training profession? It's framework that I'm using from the training profession, but it's still what makes my curriculum special, right? And so even though they're licensing this, I have to make sure that they're teaching it in a way that represents Umemba Health. So they get that the trainer training, and they also get that technical assistance, which TA in public health world is just another way of saying consulting. You have to just be creative. Some organizations will pay for technical assistance, but they won't pay for consulting. So I actually wanted to show you because I think I can share my screen. I think I figured out how to do it earlier. Exactly what's included in my packages. So if you're seeing my screen, I think you can see it because I can see it. If you're seeing my screen right now, let me go back, add to the stream. Oh, there we go. Um, if you're seeing my screen right now, what you're seeing is a slide inside of my pitch deck. So every month we do a curriculum licensing webinar and demonstration. And this is how I've packaged my curriculum. This is what my upsell looks like, so to speak. So the curriculum model that I chose along with my lawyer that works the best for my business is lifetime access. So they license the curriculum for a flat fee. They get lifetime access to the curriculum. And then they get all updates and revisions because we're continuously creating new things and handouts and all of that. They get all of those revisions for 1 year at no additional cost. Okay. Now, this is a way that I'm able to upsell if a year later or 2 years later, we've continued to add to the curriculum. There's new activities, there's new instructional methods, there's new handouts. If they want to then get access to those things, it comes at additional cost. Okay. Now, everyone that licenses the curriculum also gets mandatory instructor implementation training. And so that training consists of a 1 hour online course, train the CHW trainer. And actually, I got my workbooks. They just came. So this is a 100-page workbook. I'm not releasing them on Amazon yet. I'm doing a final edit. God, it feels like forever. But they get this workbook. They do a 1 hour CE training, and then they do a 4 hour or half-day workshop that goes over that framework that we use to provide our training. So that is mandatory when the curriculum is licensed. And then the last thing they get is technical assistance. Again, that's consulting. And the reason I did this is because I noticed that as organizations were licensing the curriculum, they would come back and say, oh, can you help us apply to get certified, to get accredited? Can you help us apply for continuing education? Can you help us get started? Can you help us with really just kind of the format and the delivery of the program? And that really wasn't something that I had factored into it the first time. So I quickly revamped to say anyone who licenses this curriculum and depending on the package gets X amount of hours. So I do have currently 3 packages. Package A comes with a lifetime license, 2 instructors being trained, and 3 hours of technical assistance. Package B is the curriculum lifetime access, 4 instructors being trained, and 6 hours of technical assistance. And package C is, of course, the curriculum, 6 instructors can be trained, and 9 hours of technical assistance. So that's what I mean when I say upsell. Don't just license your curriculum. Make sure you package it with other services. Make sure you increase the value and ultimately increase the bottom line in the amount of money that you're going to receive as well. Okay, so let's see if I can stop the screen share at this time. And we're going to go to our last tip before I see if there are any questions for me and answer questions and open the floor. So my 7th tip, not my last because I've got a bonus, but the 7th tip really is to get started now. Get started now. There's never been a better time. If you've heard me say it before, I always will say, package your genius and monetize your skill set. And if you're in the healthcare public health field, one of the ways to package your genius and monetize your skill set is to develop a training curriculum, get it certified for CEs, and license the curriculum. If it's a train the trainer type of curriculum, like I talked about with my curriculum, Train the CHW Trainer, which is not the one that I'm licensing, by the way. I'm licensing my CHW training curriculum, but I may be licensing this one soon. It just depends. I want to hold on to this one a little bit longer. But if it is a Train the Trainer curriculum, that is even better. But seriously, there has never been a better time to get started with licensing your curriculum or get started with training individuals I've been able to walk away from a six-figure job in corporate America because of the fact that I know how to develop curriculum. I know how to deliver training that is impactful, that actually gets results, sees results, and transforms individuals and organizations. So believe me when I say there's never been a better time.